August. I mean, when you think of when your parents were approaching ages like my parents never got to that age, and there's John still wanting to tour.
You're a youngster of 79.
Youngster of 79, but you don't say that when you're this age. You know, John will go around saying, I'm 81, you know, and I go around saying, I'm nearly 80, you know. I feel great, though. No problems at all. No mobility problems, no health issues, and I don't feel any different to when I was 25. A couple of lower back aches when I get up in the morning, but, you know, get working away and walking about, and it's fine.
No, you did call the last tour your final tour. That was the name of it, your final tour. So how did you think of a way to get round that announcement?
Well, we're well-known liars. No, I did remind them. I did remind them that when we did that last tour, in my last announce, I said, well, that's it. I said, but never. I said, never say never again. And then I said, anyway, this is the final shows that we're ever going to do until the first of our 7 comeback tours.
Well, this is called.
So there's only 6 more to go.
Well, this is called the Thank You Tour, isn't it? Of course.
It is. Yeah, that was John's idea. A very nice way of putting it, really.
And the great thing is, I mean, I'm not surprised at all, and I don't think you'll be that surprised, but the legend and the magic of the Searchers has been proved once again, because the dance halls and the clubs have been fighting over putting it on.
Yeah, we just finished 2 nights. The first opening nights in Wimborne in Dorset, and it's one of the smaller theatres, so we wouldn't normally have gone into it, maybe. But the guy, played it so many times in the past, and he was begging us to do it, and to get Alan to agree to the dates, he had to put in 2 dates instead of 1, and they both sold out. And the Chroma, the Pier at Chroma was the same. We have just had such great times in the past that they were, you know, really giving Alan a pounding to make sure they had a date. And it's all going extremely well. First night was a bit dodgy. He played lots of bomb notes in there, but the audience didn't care.
And there must be about, 20 or 30 venues you do it?
You're joking. 43.
God gracious me. Incredible, but it's a salute to the magic of your music.
It's a salute to the NHS keeping us alive. I think we've both been through health issues. You know, I've had a cancer op and everything like that, and John had his stroke, and then he even while we were preparing for the tour, he was doing gardening at his house and badly injured his playing hand, his right hand. Never told us about it, and it's still not right yet. He's got a support bandage on it, but you know, thankfully he can manage to, you know, operate the guitar okay.
So what have you been doing, Frank? Have you filled in the last 3 years?
Lazing about. I'm really good at it. I got it down to a fine art. It's wonderful. I'm not a naturally active person. I'm active socially. I'll always go into London, see some shows, have dinners with people. But in the daytime, so I don't have to find things to do at all. I ease into it very, very well. Even in the lockdown period, and thank goodness we stopped when we did, because lockdown would have made us stop, and that would have been really difficult with organising the logistics of the accounts and everything like that. So we just actually got out at the right time, as it happens. But I enjoy it. I'm doing very little at all. You
probably don't get the Liverpool Echo, but Spencer Lee did a great column recently saluting your choice of what have they done to the rain, and saying how different that was at the time, but how relevant it is today.
Yeah, well, we actually, when we released that, we kept quiet about the real meaning. I think it was Tito Burns, our agent, who thought they didn't want any really controversy, because we were the nice boys. There was never any scandal about us. Well, nothing much anyway. And it was all about acid rain, of course. Yeah. But the protest movements hadn't really taken off. Bob Dylan was coming up with things, but the environment, all those sort of issues was just not really discussed in those terms. Still a nice song, though. We just thought it was a lovely folk song.
Great song. And the great thing about the Searchers now is that their catalogue is so available. There's so much more of the Searchers we can get now than we couldn't get before. And it also gives us a chance to appreciate, I think I mentioned this to you, Frank, that the Searchers, who never shouted about being songwriters, you wrote some great B-sides, the lads, together.
I think John wrote one of the most beautiful ones, which we may, if we got time to learn it again, put in one of the shows as the tour goes on. He wrote the B-side of Goodbye My Love, which is Till I Met You, and he wrote it for his wife Mary. And it's the most beautiful little acoustic song. It's one of the nice songs we've ever had in our repertoire, and we should be doing it on stage, really.
And the strange thing about the Searchers, I mean, once you'd finished with Pie and you got the 2 albums with Sire, still 2 of the most critically acclaimed albums you've ever done. And there was such a big move ahead, but what great production, and every song stands up.
It was fantastic, isn't it? You know, I can play those albums now, and I could pick out 6 and think there are 6 singles there.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get arrested. You know, we got, as you were saying, we got great acclaim. If you look back on the press of those days, we got the most amazing write-ups by the music press. It was as if it was the second coming. DJs wouldn't touch us. You know, we were like leprosy to DJs. We were so unfashionable. We couldn't get plays on the radio. But I'll tell you what, we're so proud of those records. And, you know, of course, Mike was in the band, and I know we've had all our troubles and split, but, you know, Mike did great vocals on that thing, and John was involved very much with Pat Moran in the production, and he worked tirelessly day and night.
Well, I did read some of that. John had a lot to do with the guitars on the side albums.
He played virtually every guitar on the side albums.
Which is
what we did was we put down a basic rhythm track with 2 guitars, bass and drums, you know, which eventually ends up as a kind of guide track. And then John was up all the time, half the night, a lot of the time, with Pat Moran, putting on 12-string guitars, doing specially tuned high-strung guitars, and layering the effect. And you can hear the result on those albums so well. It
is different, but Moran retained the Searchers sound, but gave it an upgrade.
Oh, certainly. I mean, you can't. There's no doubt that when a band has its first series of hits, that naive kind of simple sound is so refreshing. You can't replicate that, and you would never do it. Once you've got the technology to add to all that, you will do it. But you go back to Sweets for My Sweet, and that is a stonking record. Yeah. It's solid and it's fresh and it's absolutely wonderful. Of course, when you get to 32-track and 64-track studios, you can do all those embellishments. And yes, we brought the sound up to where it should be today, and the way that other, more relevant artists would have done it. Thank goodness we did.
I love both albums. Heart in Their Eyes is the one everybody's played.
We're doing that on stage now in this tour.
And I love Silver.
Silver's great, isn't it? I'd love to do that again. I'd love to do the whole album again.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. We were thinking of doing Infatuation. We're toying with the idea the other day, and John and I were both learning it, and Spencer's got to learn the words. So whether we'll get time, we're still at the moment repairing all the bits we've forgotten, the ones we're doing on stage now, because it's amazing what you can forget in 4 years.
You could do if you pick the right venues, I'm sure you could do a Sire tour.
Yeah, you could. I wish we had the courage to do that. Well, I do. We're too old to do it now anyway. Once this tour's over, we're already getting pressure to do more dates, the year after.
I know.
Seriously are. And, I'm sitting there thinking, well, why would I say that? John's going to be 82 by then. I shall be 80. And, as I say, never say never. But this probably is going to be the last tour, I think.
Now, I would call that the second phase of your career, the Sire. And now, I think Coconut was the third phase of your career.
Yeah, John, I listened to a Coconut track the other day. I was trawling through the YouTube stuff, and I came across a clip we did in Germany, and it was we were singing to Needles and Pins. It was obviously miming to the recording. It was the Coconut recording, the reissue, or revamping of the whole thing. When you hear re-recordings and they don't match up to the early ones, they're not as good enough. Well, this one it's actually great. Not in the same way.
It's very heavy, Frank.
Yeah, but it's also got a lot of life in it, and it's not fair to compare it with the early one because they're great for two different reasons.
But
I love both of them.
But the band have also now, with the different lineup and with the new lead singer, you've re-established a different reputation where some of your best numbers are ballads like In This Life It's an incredible song, and that stops the show for you.
Yeah, God, we haven't got it in at the moment. About 3 or 4 people shouted out for it last night, so I think we better get learning that and put it back in. But there's so many to choose from. I must remind you that our new lead singer has been our new lead singer for 38 years now.
Spencer, I'm sorry about that, Spencer.
Young Spencer James is 70 today.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Spencer. Well,
yeah, happy birthday. We'll buy you some hair for a birthday present.
Well, we're going to go out on this one because this one, I think, put a totally different searches out to the world, and that somebody told me you were crying.
Oh, well, that is in the show.
I mean, what an astounding number. It's a kind of number Gene Pitney, I think, would have clawed off you.
Oh, well, Cliff could have had a hit with that.
I don't think Cliff had the range for it, Frank.
Oh, I think he does. Oh, I think he's very because he's become a bit unfashionable. No, I think he could do it. I think he'd do a great job.
But it's a great song and a great production as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we did try it. It got released as a single in a very low-key way, but of course no one heard it. It never got played and all that. But you've got to try these things. And, you know, there are only so many places in the charts, and every decade you've got more music to be played. So if you get left behind, well, you know, there's a reason for it. And,
of course, the final date of the Thank You Tour will be at the Philharmonic Hall.
Yeah. And it's really selling.
Oh, it's
sold. I think all the ground is sold out now, and the circles and all that are just filling up. So it's going to be an absolutely brilliant night.
It'll be a brilliant tour, and let's hope everything goes well for you because
well, let's hope we've learned the songs by then.
Frank,
no guarantees.
Oh, it was great to talk to you, Frank. Good luck with the tour. I'll definitely be there at the Philharmonic Hall.
Thanks a lot.
And would you give John my kindest regards as well,
I will,
please?
Yeah, I'll be seeing him later in a couple of hours' time, and I will say hello to you and look forward.
And young Spencer.
And I will, young Spencer. Yes, I'll say, Billy says happy birthday.
Thanks a lot, mate. Take care.
Take care, Billy. Bye now.
Couldn't wait to see your face again, to see the joy come back into another's arms. And here you are, you're in my arms, like I said that you